Welcome, guys, to another episode of Nerds for Life SuperCoach. I'm your host, Peter, and what a week! What a week we have coming, and what a week we had. I've won 3 out of my last week's 6 games, and I don't know how. Honestly, this little fucking prick right here scored a 53 as my captain. This, in the last month, just the last month alone, is the second time in a month alone that I have had, 3 weeks, the second time in 3 weeks that I had a score that was sub-affected as my captain. So, for the first 14 rounds, I'm just going to kick this off with, for the first 14 rounds, I started the season with a 145 point average from my captain picks. 14 rounds, looked great. Everything that I did, genius captain moves, right? Just nailed every single one. The last 4 weeks, I've been averaging 64.7 from the last 4 weeks. I've had a 69, a 15, a 133, and then a 53 as my captains. What is going on? Honestly, I still scored 2,320 with a 53 as my captain. That fell out of my best score, which means I had no double up at all. It actually fell out of my best 22. So I got no captain score because you don't get your vice captain pick at that point. So I got no captain score, and I still scored 20. I did the math because about 5 minutes before the game, I swapped the captaincy off Bontempelli and I put it on Rossi. And I would have been in... I can't remember. I can't remember right now. I don't want to redo it, but I would have been close to 2,600. And I am so pissed off with the last 4 weeks. Just... everything else has gone fine. And then just the captaincy just doesn't work. And the most annoying thing it was the last game as well. Again, the last game of the round. So everything looks great up until that point, and then it's just, you scored a shit score. Anywho, we have a shitload of Carnage coming into this week. I only have a couple of the issues, so it's not too bad. I have seen at least a few teams with all 5 players that we're going to discuss. And we're going to kick it off with what to do. And I guarantee you your questions are largely going to be about what to do with the injury and suspension carnage that we are entering round 19 with. But first, please make sure to subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, Nerds for Life SC, or you can go and watch this on, if you're watching this on Spotify, you can also give us a follow or subscription there. We're also on Facebook, Nerds for Life, SuperCoach, X, TikTok, oh god, forgot that, and Instagram as well. Did get box seats to probably one of the worst games ever. This guy took a selfie when I asked for a photo of Brad Johnson, so that was pretty cool meeting Brad Johnson. But anyway, please make sure to do that, guys. It supports the page, and then you get to get my preseason content soon, because I cannot wait for preseason, because 2025 is shot. But I'm currently, in my main league, I am sitting top 2 at the moment. So I'm not a guaranteed top 2 spot. So I'm doing okay, and as long as I can survive to finals, my rank is shot. Because the last 4 weeks, the captaincy picks have killed me. It's absolutely killed me. But let's go to the group winner. So I'm just going to go down when it loads. Because apparently my internet is playing up again. You know, it's been working fine while I've been working all day. No, but as soon as it comes to this sort of thing. View league. Let's take a look. Who won the captaincy pick? And who won the league? My god, why is nothing working? I'm tempted to just never use my home internet ever again. Genuinely just tempted to just not use it. It's just garbage. I don't understand how it's this bad. It works for work. Just not for the things that I want to do. just that's okay. All right. Well, while that loads, we'll go back to that. We've got a few Injury news and suspension news. I'm just going to bring it up. So Jason Horn-Francis is the number one. Ruled out for the season. So if you've got him, got to jump off. That's it. A lot of coaches do own him, and there's already quite a few people that are trading him out as a result. We've also got Tristan Cherry, 3 weeks. That's been finalised, upheld, suspended, gone, bye-bye. Tuke Miller, 4 to 6 weeks, hamstring. Nick Martin is out for the season as well. Connor Rosie's listed as a test. However, he is most likely missing this week. And then you've also got Nick Dacos, who is also a test and could miss this week too, after he didn't really kick off. Oh my god, I got a lot of comments here. Didn't really play great against the Suns. Had a sprained ankle early in the game, but he did play through it, so maybe he plays. Hopefully not. I've got some cover, but it's still looking quite dire. So we're going to swap to my hotspot. Now, we've got a few questions on that. Now, I understand there are quite a few questions in regards to these players, and that's fine. That's what we're going to be doing. I'm just going to be switching to the hotspot. So we're going to jump straight into them, okay? Straight into the questions. What are we doing? Question time. Here we go. Let's just go. I didn't get any on X, so we're just going to go to... let's see. Can I get disconnect? Because apparently this is the worst. Let's see. Yep. Let's go. So the first question is from the SuperCoach co-captains by Dano. Thanks, mate, because I'm already feeling shit about this. Tell the people who you're putting as C so we can predict who gets the sub-vest. K, thanks, bye, love heart. Yeah, thanks, mate. Has privately messaged me asking not to pick Brody Grundy this week, so I don't ruin his pick. I'm getting Brody Grundy specifically because I want to make you suffer. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, look, to be fair, I do post my captain picks all the time. And if you were following me between rounds 1 and 14, you've done quite well for yourself. The last 4 weeks, not so much. Then we've got Liam Nashoda, Gorn or Nank, and why? Okay, so Gorn actually has a really good run coming up for Ruckman. Okay, he's already gone past the tough draw. Nank also has a decent run coming up. Personally, I would go Gorn. He has had the season... He's just had the season. He's just had a really, really good year. And that's the thing. Nank has been a little bit up and down. Yes, both do have a really cool... Can't connect to this network. Why? Why is this? Why does this happen? Connect. My God. Why does this happen when I start streaming? The internet was fine. Literally fine. Before I started. Literally fine. Worked all day. Fine. Everything was fine. Now, just no. Just doesn't want to work. Alright, we'll just go back to this thing. Checking networks. Sorry guys, this is... Yep, I'm just recording live. There we go. Connected. We have some internet. Nice. I'm just going to bring up Max Gorn's upcoming record. Now, we're going to go through who to bring in as well for these players. But Carlton, St Kilda, West Coast, Western Bulldogs, Hawthorn, Collingwood. None of those are screaming massive negating ruckman to me. The Carlton one might be a little bit tough with going up against 2 ruckmen. But especially that West Coast game is juicy. Well, for Nankervis, it would help if I could spell. For Nankervis, he is cheaper, and you're going to get an immediate return from him. But remember, he didn't do great earlier this year against West Coast. He's got West Coast, Collingwood, Gold Coast. Now, Witts is a negating ruckman. St Kilda, which is fine. And then you've got Cherry, who's a negating ruckman, okay, in your SuperCoach prelim finals or potentially SuperCoach grand finals, depending on when your SuperCoach final series begins. Therefore, there's 2 tough matchups coming up in the next 6. Well, I don't really see too many coming for Gorn. I'd be more inclined to go Gorn. If you can afford the extra 60k, just jump on Gorn. Alright? Grant William Fox, who is the best POD with a high ceiling and can get a run home under 320k. If I can find one, I get X up on Grundy. See, I'm actually considering, funnily enough, the same kind of trade, unfortunately. George Wardlaw playing as a midfielder, but he hasn't had a great season, so I don't love it. To be honest, and he did come back through the VFL, and he could get picked. It might be Kitty Goblin. Just 270k. If you really are desperate, like, you could do it. I don't love that pick at all, but for ceiling, I suppose that's probably the best one. Option A. Alright, so this is Jake Callady. Cherry and Clark out for Grundy and Harvey, leaving 111k in the bank. 2 trades remaining and full primo, including McCarthy. Plan, then upgrade McCarthy in 1 to 2 weeks to a fallen primo. Okay, so Cherry and Clark out for Grundy and Harvey, leaving 100. Yeah, that's not bad. Option B, straight swap Cherry to Gorn, leaves 100k in the bank, 3 trades remaining, and full primo, including McCarthy. Then trade out either McCarthy, Clark, or maybe both to get a decent boomer. Honestly, I like option B better. Cherry straight to Gorn. It leaves you with an extra trade, essentially, because there could be more Carnage to come, and there usually is. I think your team will be overall better, and as I said, I can't see Gorn and Grundy scoring. Like, Grundy's got a better record coming up, and we'll go into the rucks soon. Grundy's got a better record, like, draw coming up, but Gorn is a pretty solid second. And if you don't have Gorn, I think Gorn's I think for you, Gorn is kind of the option. Will Boak got both Cherry and Martin. Do I do straight swaps to Gorn and Whitfield, or get Grundy and see Harvey and field either Tom McCarthy, who is currently on my bench? Interesting. That is interesting. Gorn and Whitfield is a good combination to have. Okay, Gorn and Whitfield, but then Grundy and McCarthy isn't bad either. Here's the thing. I actually prefer Gorn and Whitfield because it means you've got Tom McCarthy as a spare man if something was to go down later in the season when you have less injuries. Okay? You're running paper thin. Paper thin if you are relying on Grundy and McCarthy, right? So I think holistically, go Gorn and Whitfield. Okay? Seth Fuller, holding Rosie, likewise. Have to trade Jason Ward-Francis. Only 2 trades. Don't have Cherry or Martin. That's lucky. And have 12k in the bank. Who do I get forward for Jason Ward-Francis? I get 12k from Jason Ward-Francis because of that. So we're going to go into some Jason Ward-Francis trades. But, like, you need a forward, right? So if I was to trade Jason Ward-Francis plus 12k, I've got a little bit more money than you do. So what are we going to do? Minus 46k. So what is that? 430 something? No, he's going to be in the 440s. Alright, let's see. About 450k. So you're going to have 450k. This is gross. This is gross. You have 450k to play with. All of them are gross. Wow, I really don't like literally everybody. Everybody that I'm seeing, I don't quite like. This is not great. This is not... Yeah, Jeremy Cameron, I don't mind. He's got a good run home. Bailey Humphrey as well, I don't mind. I'm personally not jumping back on Bailey Humphrey because I hate him after he basically failed me earlier this year. But he's on a pretty decent run. Like 131, 93, 88, 86. They're fine scores. He's got Richmond coming up in 3 weeks. You know, Took Miller's missing most likely for the rest of the home and away season. So Bailey Humphrey is taking on the majority of those CBAs in saying that he only scored 86 against the Pies. Tough matchup in all fairness, but the Pies don't tag. Look, I don't mind Bailey Humphrey. I really don't mind Bailey Humphrey. I think that's probably the way to go if you're looking for a forward at that price, or you could take a punt on the ceiling of Jeremy Cameron Okay, but I'm just going to warn you, this is his last 5 games. 104, 28, 116, 63, 131, 43. Okay? It's not amazing. St Kilda doesn't have a great record against, but he does have North. Okay, coming up. Port Adelaide, who are injury depleted. He scored a 108 earlier in the year against them. Alright. He's also scored like a 91, 140, and 131 against North as well, by the way, in his last 3. He's got Essendon, who are heavily depleted as well. Sydney, who have actually been much better at, so that is actually a decent matchup. And then Richmond, okay? So his upcoming record is decent. So for me, and I hate key forwards, I probably would go, I'd take a punt on Jeremy Cameron and hope that he pumps out a 140 for you while, you know, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I think. I don't think the matchup is good this week, but I think overall, it's a pretty decent pick, okay? That's what I reckon. Alex Fall, sir. Do you think OnlyFans could pay in SuperCoach trades instead of money? If it does, let me know. I'll make an account. Okay. Troy Wendell. I have 1 trade left. I'm full primo, but I have Big X. Is it worth holding him? Could be a good pod come into finals. Okay, so 1 trade. Cherry's coming back. Okay. You're not going to get much. You do a straight swap from Cherry to a decent player. But you could just leave it as well. I actually like that. Like if you're not playing for rank anymore and you're playing for your leagues and you've secured yourself a top 4 spot and it doesn't really matter, right, over the next couple of weeks, then I do like the hold of Cherry. However, if you're trying to aim for rank, I don't like the holding of Cherry. Okay? So it really depends on what you're trying to do. I'm going for the upside, most likely, of Brodie Grundy. Okay? Because why not? I think a couple of my opponents are also in my main league are going for Brodie Grundy, and I don't want to be the guy that's sitting there hoping Brodie Grundy doesn't score 200 against West Coast, for example. Okay? So I'm going to take that punt. But I also understand... Well, most likely take the punt. I don't know. I'm going to play with my team a little bit more. Michael James, why do we put ourselves through this year after year? I don't know, mate. I feel this. I don't know. But I'm going to do it next year as well. Let's take a look. So we'll go back on X. Did I get any questions on X? I did not. So that is fine. All right, moving forward. Options. So we've got Connor Rosie. Most likely missing a week. Just hold him. Just hold him. You should have something. You know, he's got DPP. You know, just hold him for the week. Don't bother. Really don't bother. Okay? He's been scoring fine. Just keep him. Yeah, almost 3,000 coaches have traded him out. He's scoring fine. Just hold on to it. Okay? Unless it's your only problem. If you've managed to avoid all of this injury carnage and you've got like 5 trades left, okay, and your team's full primo, maybe do it. Maybe jump on the Mills. Maybe do it. Yeah? Or oh my god, Josh Dacos. That's a good pick. Maybe jump on Josh Dacos. Whatever. I like it. But only if you're in that situation, which you're probably not. Like the rest of us. So we're going to start taking a look at some Tristan Cherry options. Okay, so now I can actually get... See, the thing is, I'm actually considering this as well. Okay, so I could put Marshall into my ruck because I've got the 3 rucks. And then I can go Butters into flex. And that's 1 trade. That's 1 trade. And I'm like, that's fine. That is genuinely fine. And then I could put Jeremy Cameron in my forward line for Jason Horne-Francis, like I was saying before. And there's a part of me that really likes this move. It is probably the more intelligent move than what I am considering. But now I want to do it. I'm not going to do it. Most likely not going to do it. I don't know. Actually, I could probably do it. I could do 1 trade this week. And still have 4 trades and a boost left. What is Zach Butters? So that's the thing. If you've got that three-way ruck going, which a lot of teams do, why are you only considering a ruckman? I don't think that it needs to necessarily be a ruckman. Okay, so we've got Zach Butters now, right? I know we've got Jason Horn-Francis up, but he's got the same draw. Plays for the same club. Hawthorn are going to be a tough matchup for Zach Butters, I think. Okay? Adelaide should be fine. Geelong sometimes tag. Freo's fine. Carlton's a basket case. And then you've got Gold Coast who don't tag too. So his draw is okay. Alright? It doesn't contain like a West Coast and a Richmond and a North Melbourne. Alright? In there. But there is someone that, and I'm seriously considering it, and I don't know why I'm considering it, but hear me out. Jack Steele, 513k, okay? Decent record against Geelong. He doesn't have the ceiling he used to have anymore, but has gone 130 plus twice against Sydney and Gold Coast this season, okay? Has been pretty decent. He's only had two bad, like seriously bad games, a 46 against the Dogs in round 6 and a 56 in round 15. But outside of that, he's been pretty good. He's been pretty consistent. He's got Geelong, who he went 106 against earlier in the year. He's got Melbourne, okay, who he went 117 against earlier in the year. He's got North Melbourne, who he should score well against. He's gone 112, 160 and 95 in his last three. Then he's got Richmond, who he hasn't played yet this season, who concede a lot to inside midfielders. Essendon and the Giants. Now, the Giants he scored an 80 against, so that's the tough one. But Essendon have no midfield at the moment. Corwell's done. Martin's done. Parrish looks done. Setterfield's done. Hobbs is injured. Like, literally, they have no midfield. This could seriously be a play. This could be a play. We're going to start playing... my SuperCoach final series in most of my leagues starts in round 21, right? So his first game's against North Melbourne. It's not bad. Then Richmond, Essendon. Holy shit, you've made your SuperCoach grand final. By the time he's... And then if he scores an 80, it's not too big of a deal. It's not, it's not horrible if he's pumped out 120s for the last three games in your final series. I'm genuinely considering boosting and getting Jack Steele into that team somehow, and maybe just sucking it up and not going Grundy, just going Cherry and out, Horn-Francis out, someone else out, getting Jack Steele and Zach Butters in. I think my team could be overall better with those two, but we'll see. Just an option. And I really do like that option, by the way. He's cheap. No one's talking about him. And I could see him having a pretty good finish to the year. And if it was a midfielder that was 100% injured, and if there's a way that I can get Jack Steele and Brodie Grundy in the team, so I'm been messing with my team a lot to see if I can do it. If I can do it, I'm probably doing it. I'm probably doing that personally, just because they've got a draw coming up, and I just see it paying off. But we're gonna go back to forwards. We're gonna go back to not forwards. My bad. We're gonna go back to ruckman. Sorry, a little bit disjointed here. We're gonna go back to ruckman. All right, so number one replacement for Tristan Cherry is Max Gawn. I just think that you're paying up. What is that? It's not even a K, or is it a K? It's 1,000. No, it's not. It's less. Oh my god, my maths is terrible at the moment. You should be able to do a straight swap to Max Gawn. All right. If you don't have Max Gawn, don't think about it. Just do the one trade, get Max Gawn in, done. Okay, he's playing good enough football. He's currently got the second most points for a ruckman. He's the R1 this season in total points. Okay, probably going to finish there, or at least top two. Just get him. Okay. Brodie Grundy is the number one target. I'm just going to bring this up. All right. This is nuts. I can't believe I'm recommending someone that is 737k with a break even of 162. But I am. His last... Oh my god. I just want to go... He scored a 54 against the Giants. Since that point... He actually started off okay too. Since that point has gone 121, 135, 109, 161, 155. That game was insane. I was there. 159, 179, 127, 154. Against the King Ruckman himself, he's still turned up. His scoring has been elite. He has pushed himself into all Australian nominations right now. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Grundy and Gawn as the two. If they go with a dual All Australian ruck, which they don't always do, but if they do, I wouldn't be surprised. He's been insane. He's got North Melbourne this week at the SCG where he goes ballistic in. Okay, I just want to read out his last four games at the SCG have been 127, 179, 161 and 135. He goes nuts at the SCG. He's going to be playing against Callum Coleman Jones or Finbar Malley or Teagle or a combination of the two. We don't know. He's gonna have a big score. He went 113 against Cherry. Okay, imagine what he's gonna do to whoever the hell he's going up against. He's got Briggs after that, who did tower him up pretty well actually in round 8. I can't see that happening again. There must have been something wrong with him that week. I don't know what. I can't remember what it was, but I have a feeling that was really just a once-off. That's his worst score of the season significantly, and it's been on an absolute tear since. Even if he has an average score that week, it's fine, because when your SuperCoach Final Series starts, he's got Todd Goldstein, who Nank just went 135 against. Alright, imagine what Brody Grundy's going to do. Then he's got the Big O, who he went, or maybe Darcy fought, potentially in round 22. Maybe they're tougher matchup there. Geelong should be completely fine. And then West Coast, for your SuperCoach Grand Final, you could potentially have the best ruckman in the competition against the team that concedes the most points against opposition ruckman. Okay? Rowan Marshall went 180 against West Coast only a few weeks ago. Imagine what Brodie Grundy is going to do. Okay? I could see potentially 3 170 plus scores in his next 6. And then the others are probably tons. You don't want to be going up against someone that has gone Brodie Grundy, and you don't have Brodie Grundy. So I think he's the number 2 target, firmly. If you've got Gawn, here's your number 1. If you can get there, just do it. Just do it. After that, it's Timmy English. Now, I'll tell you why. I'm going to go to his upcoming draw. He's got McInerney, who, look, he's got an okay record against. Alright? An okay record against. Now, he's in decent form himself, actually. I just want to point out, since his bye in round 12, he's gone 127, 115, 142, 109, 109, 98. And that 98 is against a decent negating run. Okay? He's also got both Essendon and West Coast coming up. So I can expect some pretty good scores coming out of Timmy English soon. The only annoying thing is the Essendon score is not your SuperCoach Final Series. If you're fighting to get into your SuperCoach Final Series, then maybe English is the way to go, because I can see a big score coming out of him at Marvel. Okay? He did go 122 against Goldie earlier this season. He went 100 against Briggs earlier this season as well, so that's okay. Melbourne's a tough matchup against Max Gawn. Then you've got West Coast. That's the easy one, of course. Fremantle, he went 107 against earlier this year, so you'd expect him to be around that mark, maybe. I don't know if they had the dual ruck in round 4 or not at the time. I think Darcy wasn't available still. But again, that's that. Who knows? I'm not really confident in that last game, which is going to be annoying because that's your SuperCoach Grand Final for you. Unless your SuperCoach Grand Final's in round 23 somehow, or I don't know which mode it is. If your SuperCoach Grand Final's round 23, I think Tim English is the way to go. If you think that you're a solid chance for that, just Tim English, I love it. So right now it would be number 1, Gawn, number 2, Grundy, number 3, English, and then number 4 for me is Rowan Marshall. Okay. Has been in pretty good form. Right, he went the 179 against West Coast. Then he had 3 weeks of kind of meh scores, a really bad one. But then he's gone 124, 159, 135, 100. It's actually been really good in his last month. Okay. He scored 121 against Geelong earlier this year. I can see him scoring well. Tough matchup next week against Max Gawn. But again, not your SuperCoach final series, so who cares? North Melbourne, guess what? Tristan Cherry's still missing. Alright? So he's going to be going up against Finbar Malley or Callum Coleman-Jones or whatever. Then he's got Richmond coming up. Okay? Went 117 against Nank earlier this year. I can see that probably being a really good score. Then he's got, what's his name? Oh my god, Goldie. Old man Goldie. In your prelim final or grand final. And then he's got GWS. Now the GWS game scored a 52 earlier this year. Yuck. But I think he was injured earlier in the season. So I can't see him sputting up. That would be annoying if he does sput up. But I'm going to be honest, these three, they're going to win you some matchups. You're going to at least get to this grand final if you've got someone that is playing against opponents like ruck opponents like this that are just going to bleed points to ruckman. Okay? I actually think Rowan Marshall's a better pick than Tim English. So I'm gonna change my order. Number 1, trade in. If you're going a ruckman, Max Gawn, Brodie Grundy number 2, Rowan Marshall number 3, Tim English number 4. They're your top 4. Okay? If you're cheaping out, I do like a Toby Nankervis at number 5. If you really are... I actually don't rate the Lloyd Meek pick, by the way. I'm going to go into it in a minute. I prefer Nank's run home. West Coast, Collingwood he can score well. That is an annoying... The Wits matchup is annoying, but Rowan Marshall's not a negating ruckman. Cherry is, and Geelong should be fine. So, I don't... I think Nankervis is next if you're cheap. Lloyd Meek is a little bit more expensive. Yes, he's had 2 really good games. But again, I don't love the upcoming score. He'll do well this week against Port. Carlton, dual rucks, might do okay. Negating ruckman in O'Brien. Collingwood should be fine. Really tough matchup. Max Gawn, and that's potentially a prelim final for your SuperCoach team. And then, Brisbane, he went 56 against them earlier this year. I don't love it. I really don't. I think that they're the 4 that you should be taking on. And they're really the only 4 that you should be considering. Nankervis is a 5th if you really want to go the ruckman route. I don't mind it. But honestly, for 514k, you might be able to pick up a better midfielder, right? I think Jack Steele is going to have a stronger finish to the year than Toby Nankervis, for example. All right, I know that we love ruckman. I know that if you're trading out Tristan Cherry, you want to get another ruckman in. But if you've gone the 3 ruck route, like I have, move someone else into R2 and get another player that is potentially going to score better. And I still think that getting a POD midfielder that has a good run home, like a Jack Steele, for example, could be a play. And he's a POD as well. No one has him. No one owns him. Right? He pops off a few 130s and you're laughing. Right? So I know that Grundy has the big upsides in him, yes, but there is a 220k difference between the two, and if you can't reach Grundy, maybe just getting a team that is holistically good, okay? Jason Horne-Francis. Now, this depends on whether you have him in your forward line or your midfield, okay? So for me, it's not really affecting me too much because I'm just chucking Caleb Daniel back into my midfield, okay? I'm probably going to put Wicks there and go with Roaston on field. Okay? Because I haven't decided whether or not I want to trade Jason Horne-Francis this week or not. He's not going to lose me money at all. I have a full team playing. So, except for Rosie. Actually, that's gross. I just realised that Rosie's probably not playing. Okay, I might do that. I might have to trade out Horne-Francis just to cover Rosie now. Gross. But, either way, so Jason Horne-Francis, okay? There are a lot of options, okay? Hypothetically, you don't have many trades, and you don't have much cash, okay? The number one, I can't believe I'm saying this, but in total points, the number one forward is Isaac Rankin. Last 2 games have been pretty good. Adelaide's run home is actually really good as well. I just want to point out that he's playing Gold Coast, who don't tag, doesn't have a great record against them, but he should be okay. Port Adelaide, he doesn't have a great record against either, but it is at Adelaide Oval. His next 3 are at Adelaide Oval. Then he's got Hawthorn, should score decently against them, but then this is where it gets good. West Coast, Collingwood, and North, okay? And that's deep in your SuperCoach finals. I do like the Rankin pick. I really do. Not a massive fan of the Christian Petrarca pick myself, but he does have West Coast in a couple of weeks. He's got Carlton this week. So you should expect at least 2 tons there, but his last 3 games of the MCG are pretty tough. Against the Dogs, Hawthorn and Collingwood, they're tough midfields. He did go 115 against Collingwood only a few weeks ago. 99 against Hawthorn. That was a really annoying game. I'm pretty sure he was at like 60 points at half time and then just stopped. And then the Western Bulldogs, I don't have a recent game against him. But tough matchup. So he should have scored a lot better than his 84 this week. He had something like 14 disposals and 20 SuperCoach points because he kept butchering the footy. Most weeks that would be 110, 120 score for him. So he's been fine. He's been fine. If you can get to him and you don't have him and you need a forward, it's not a horrible pick. Jack Macrae, again, there's 42% owned, which means a lot of people still don't have Macrae. So if you've traded Jack Macrae out and you can jump to him, do that. Luke Jackson, with Sean Darcy in the team, I just don't see the upside anymore, so I wouldn't be jumping on him. Matthew Kennedy scored a 23 on the weekend. I cannot condone jumping on anyone that scored a 23 on the weekend. Caleb Daniel, those who jumped off Caleb Daniel, okay, he just turned up, 464k. The jump is not high. It's only 26 grand, alright? If you could jump onto Caleb Daniel right now, I'd do it. DPP, just like Horne-Francis. Just came off a ton. The role's there. You know, I know that his season average is 94 and it's not amazing to look at, but he's 57% of teams, which means there's another 43% of teams that could jump on him. Bailey Smith, obviously, you know, someone to, if you could get to him, I suppose, but most people are trying to get to a really, like, a Grundy, so you're probably not going Grundy and Smith in the same team. Also, 74% of teams own him. 29% own Warner. I wouldn't jump on Warner ever. But this is one that I love. Okay? Riley Thilthorpe. By the way, if you've got Horne-Francis and Nick Martin, this is the segment for both of you. For both players. Riley Thilthorpe is an interesting one. Right? Only 3.7% owned. Has been kind of an underdog here. His start to his season's been really solid. Okay, but again, similar to Jeremy Cameron, his floor games are bad. So he's gone 58 and 61 in rounds 13, 14. Round 16, he scored 129, then 46 and 149. So he's really, it's a roller coaster. But the highs are high, okay? They're not like 100 and then a 50. It's like 150 and then a 50. So you're averaging 100 over 2 weeks. But he's got Gold Coast, who he scored 114 against last time, earlier this year. He's got Port 113, so that's not bad. He's got Hawthorn coming up, who's a tough matchup, but West Coast, who he could go nuts against. Collingwood scored well against them last time. And North Melbourne, who, let's be honest, he could go nuts against, and he's got 110 against them last time too. So his run home is decent. Okay? I don't mind this pick. I still think Jeremy Cameron is the safer pick. Alright, we did discuss him. I think he's the safer pick. It's just gross, considering his last, again, 104, 28, 116, 63, 131, 43 is absolutely disgusting. What is his 5-round average? What is his 5-round average? Why can't I get it? Let's go back. Jeremy Cameron. Let's see what his 3-round average is 79 and his 5-round average is 76 because of how bad his low scores have been. But his high scores are good, okay? I don't hate the pick. Bailey Humphrey's fine, but I see him scoring 90s. A lot of 90s for you, which is, it's kind of boring. You don't have the upside of a Jeremy Cameron there, personally. That's just what I think. You just don't have that upside, and in your final series, you're going to want that upside. It's just going to be annoying when he pumps out a 40 and you've lost by 20 points or something. That's going to be annoying, but he could pump out a 140 and you've won by 20 points. So it could be the other way around too. If you're strapped for cash, could go Jai Simkin. Started the season off on fire. Was averaging 112 in round 3, but then it's kind of dropped off significantly, so maybe not. No, it's got Richmond coming up soon. No, gross. I would say they're the main picks. So there's some PODs there that we've discussed. There's options. You've got options you could jump to, but for me, the main ones are. It depends who you're trading. I just want, if you're listening to this, I just want you to walk away from this. If you've got 3 ruckman and you've got Tristan Cherry, you don't need to get a 3rd ruckman again. You don't need it. Okay? If you could find value elsewhere, someone that is in red hot form, like Errol Goulden, I just want to, like 592k, you're saving so much money jumping on an Errol Goulden. He's got North Melbourne, the Giants, and Essendon coming up. His last 4 games have been 95, 146, 122, 92. He's got North, the Giants, Essendon, Brisbane and Geelong are decent matchups, and then West Coast. This is one that I really would love to jump on myself. I would love to jump on an Errol Goulden. Okay? He's only made 10k for the season. He's got a good finish home. Break even at 142, so he could drop a little bit of money. Maybe holding these guys, right? And waiting for Errol Goulden to drop just that little bit of money and just jumping on someone like that could be the way. I still think Steele is, like, he is the pod. He is a pod. Okay? So he's only in 2,290. He's in 1% of teams. 1% of teams. Like, it's just, he's not going to pump out 56s and 46s all the time. Most of his games are going to be fine. Okay? And it's just that 4-round stretch between rounds 20 and 23. I could honestly see him averaging like 120, about 120 in those games. I genuinely can see it. Okay? And it's one of those things where I want to do it. I just can't get Grundy and Steele. Unless I trade out Doherty. Alright, let's play with the team a little bit. Alright, let's play with the team live. Let's just see. Alright? So I'm trading out Doherty. I'm trading out Cherry. I'm trading out Jason Horne-Francis. Alright? How am I getting... So I'm moving McCarthy into my defense. Okay. Moving McCarthy into my defense, and I'm getting Steele. I could do it. I could do it. Oh my god. I could do it. Oh, I can do it. What the fuck? I can do it. That's nuts. It does mean I've got Roaston on field, though. Is that right? Am I looking at my team correctly? I am. It means that I'm going to finish the season with Roaston on field, which is gross. And I'm trading out a fit player, okay? Which is not ideal. Not ideal to do. Oh my god. Oh my god. I could do it. I could do it. Could also just not do Grundy. Not do Doherty. I don't know what I'm doing. So if I was to trade out Cherry, substitute Marshall on, right? Trade out Horn Francis. 2 trades. Trade in Steele, who I think is actually going to have a really strong finish to the season. Right, bang. There we go. So he's there. Who am I missing? Why is... Oh, okay, yeah. And I got 552k left. Like, I could do things. Trade out Roaston. Get, oh my god, hang on. Get Brody Grundy. How much money do I have? 48k. If only I made a little bit more money throughout the year. I want Steele so bad. How am I going to do this? I don't know. I don't think I can do it. I just don't think I can do it. I just don't think it's viable. I don't think it's worth it. I just think it's stupid. And I want to do it, but I just can't. But you know, I could make it work like another week. Like I could do a boost next week and probably make this work. Because Steele's not going off this week. Like if we look at it, if you remember, Steele has a decent matchup this week. So he's break even 62. So he's going to skyrocket in price. That's the annoying thing. His last 2 games have been good. And they're against tough opponents. That's the thing. GMS Stadium. It's tough. It's tough. I just see that as... I want him for that. I don't know what to do. I will work it out. I'm going to try my best to get Grundy and Steele. I'm just going to play with my team until I can do it. Anyway, that's me. I'm done for the week. Please make sure to subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify, Facebook, X. Give us a like also on TikTok and Instagram. You can also check us out on the Patreon of Insight F Sports. I'm going to be on the mailbag this week with Damo 2, so you can check that out later. My captain video, although the last 4 weeks have been putrid, my captain video will be up with my finalised trades later in the week as a short or a reel, depending on which of those channels you're watching it on. And I'll be back same time, same place next week. Thanks for watching.